Hello all, welcome to Monday Night Live 31. I can't believe we're at 31 and all. Michael Grant's here. Go Michael, David, Rick. So and we normally pick a subject. Tonight is just really a catch-up night. We've got some new and interesting things. I've had an epiphany, yeah, so that's what we're doing tonight. Warren's here. G'day, Warren. Justin's here. Gary. Heaps of people here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So, we'll get rid of some of this stuff, and we'll get rid of me as well to a degree. So tonight's picture, which is a very, very cool picture, is from Derek Wade. We're not exactly sure where this creek is, but some magnificent riffles in that creek bed there. Just amazing riffles, and that would, if that's in a gold bearing area, which I believe it is, I think it's down Victoria somewhere, that will hold stacks of gold. That's just, yes, I love that, love the look of that creek. That's tonight's pictures. So keep sending your pictures in. Derek, if I can track Derek down, he will win a prize for sending a picture in to us. If you're selected, we've decided, if you're selected, you win a prize. So Derek will get hold of you somehow or other, and then I need to go back through and all the people that have sent me photos previously, you'll win a little prize too as a bit of a thank you for the pics that we've used. So yes, Kyla's here, Neil, Colin, yeah, Ben's here, stacks of people. Vanessa's here. Hello, Vanessa. Cleggy's here. Stephen. Lots and lots of people here. So, welcome along. So, let's get stuck into it. So, I don't know whether people saw this through the week. There was an article that came out. I don't think it's mainstream news, but an article came out about a guy in Brisbane letting people in on the secret that he bought a house and it had a gold mine in the backyard. So one of the guys in town here sent me this picture, and this is the gold mine in his backyard in suburban Brisbane. So anyway, I thought, oh, that's pretty cool. There's probably a little bit of that, but being in town's a bit of a bit different. But turns out I went to school with this guy, and he's now sold the place, so we can't even have a poke around in that little mine. So that was just an interesting thing that, yeah, he didn't even know it was there when he bought the property. He didn't even know there was a gold mine on it. So it's very, very, very interesting, some of that stuff that just appears out of nowhere. We'll get rid of that. So that's what we're doing. It would be pretty cool to have a gold mine in your backyard though, wouldn't it? Like, particularly one that looked like that. Yeah, apparently no one's been in it, but it would be pretty cool just to wander out the back and out to the mine. So, yeah. So, yes, but that was on the north side of Brisbane. I believe I know where it is. I think it's pretty close to Mount Cootha, if anyone knows Brisbane pretty well, but I think it's that way. So, right. So, Nathan's here. G'day, Nathan. Cameron. It's Brad's birthday. Happy birthday, Brad. That's awesome, mate. Right, was there a comment here? Let me just get this comment up here on the screen so everyone can see it. And it's disappeared. What's happening here? So, anyway, we won't put it up on the screen because it doesn't seem to be working just at the moment, but hi, is the ground at Warwick as hot as Claremont? the AT Max and really any VLF machine struggled at Claremont. So yes, VLF machines will struggle in that highly mineralised ground, but if you wind the sensitivity back, just remember to basically ignore the target ID. A lot of the good VLF detectorists that are getting good gold out of the goldfields are actually ignoring what the screen's telling them, listening for a target that's repeatable in both directions, and digging only strong targets. And then when you take a little bit of dirt away, you want to see that signal increasing. So yeah, you don't have to be running it flat out. That's well and truly so. So Nathan asked how many people won Pay Dirt last week. I think I sent out about a dozen or maybe more. I've had some come back to say that was quite. Some of it was wet, and I think some of it, like that stuff I panned off last week, was fairly wet. So yeah, that's apparently. I talked to the boys through the week because someone mentioned it to me on Tuesday or Wednesday, and you know, some of it comes that way. It's a bit damp and what have you. That's how they process it apparently. So yes, Nadia, I do have I have dirt left here at the shop. So yes, but I need to talk to you guys about that. So I'll contact you after the show. Right. So let's just talk about something we've been working on for a little while, and I didn't send that picture through. So and that is Monday Night Live. So we've got a new logo, Monday Night Live. Again, the colour I picked out of a picture. I like that purpley colour. Think of the mountains out in the bush. So that's our new Monday Night Live logo, and it comes in cups, and we're just working on some of the stuff. This is one I'm keeping here for myself. Hats. So there's stacks of stuff. Now it also, we've got now the web. We've actually started a website. It's called talkingdetecting.com. Geez, that's a hat and a half, isn't it? So that might not suit me, that hat. So first time I've put it on. So, but it comes in black as well. But so some of this gear, it takes about a month to get here, some of this gear. So just bear that in mind. Geez, I tell you what, looking sharp tonight. It's my Monday Night Live cap. So, Monday Night Live, Talking Detecting. Now I've got to show you, I think I can show you the what else comes with the what else you can get this gear in. There it is there. I'll open this one up here as well. So there's the black cap. It's probably a more standard cap. So the website's called talkingdetecting.com. We were very, very lucky to be able to get that. So it's a bit of a worldwide website. So we're very, very cool. There's backpacks. I haven't opened the backpacks. The backpacks are only available in white, unfortunately. So socks haven't come in to me yet, Nadia, but I've ordered them, and you can order them live on the website. also all of that gear, we're still working on it really, and that logo's changing a little bit. It's going to have talkingdetecting.com along the bottom rather than Talking Metal Detecting, because that's the website we got. So, and all of this gear will be available as Gold Diggers as well. So there's jackets, there's hoodies, there's black beanies, there's all sorts of gear. So talkingdetecting.com. So that's a very, very good, well, that's the place to get it all. Hopefully at some stage we'll be able to get some of the other products up there. So we might even see if there's a way we might even be able to get some of the other guys' products up there. So I think we should be able to do that, but we'll see what happens with that. So, but the Monday Night Live stuff is up now, ready to go. Gold Diggers will be up in the next few days. Yes, I know the backpacks need to be black, not white, but they're only available in white. So that's what we're sticking with. Yes, but it will be jet black, dirty looking. You know, that's only for, you know, that's for your important stuff that stays in the ute. So, Rodney, you've asked me about underwear a number of times. No underwear, I'm afraid, my friend. There was no option, and it would be, might be a little disturbing to have Monday Night Live on. I would be a little disturbed by it anyway. So the prices should be all on the website. I had a picture of all the stuff on the website, but I just can't track it down now. I don't know what I did with it. So I don't think it's actually been. I don't think I sent it to myself. So but there's loads of gear there. I'll just look at this price here now for you. The backpacks are actually. The backpacks are $59, so the socks are only $24. Like, a lot of this gear is not cheap to get made, so yeah. But anyway, I'll bring up that photo there. Oh, here it comes now. So if you just bear with me 3 seconds, I'll get this loaded up and save that one there. Whoa. So, right. High-vis undies, Justin. Geez, I tell you what. Yes. I'm not going down this. I'm not going down this route that you blokes are on with the nugget catches. So, I'm not involving myself in that business. So, so here's a terrible photo. I don't know why that's so terrible. Well, I do. It's just my technical challenged way of doing things, but it's terrible. But it was all I could do while I was talking to you guys. But that's a bit of an idea. There's even baby clothes in Monday Night Live and in Gold Diggers. There'll be Gold Diggers there. I have badges. I have badges, and whoever talked about badges, I will come back to you, Cal. I do have a couple of those bits and pieces. So, Robert's here. G'day, Robert. How you going? It's good to see everyone here. We didn't do any. We didn't tell anyone that we were on tonight, so it's a very much a take it as we go night. So yes, Budgie smugglers are so 1980s. Nugget catchers of the future. Yes, that's a bit disturbing. So tonight's prizes. I haven't talked about tonight's prizes. Backpack is one of tonight's prizes. Monday Night Live mug prize. Black hat. Monday Night Live thing. I might keep this fella in the shop here. I've got someone chasing that, and I might send out a couple of Gold Diggers mugs. So I will go through after the show best questions, really intelligent questions. It's not just about throwing a million questions at me. It's best questions. That will be great. Mark, yes, I have a online shop. It's called Gold Diggers. If you search Gold Diggers metal detectors, that's where you can buy a whole stack of metal detecting gear. So, but yes. Okay, so, right. How do we enter? Best question by Bianca. So if you've got any questions about metal detecting, anything you'd like to know, throw them at me. Let me have it. So, yes, so Cal asks a good question here. Let's just, Cal asks a great question. What is the best areas to scope out what to detect? So it's a very, very common question, actually, because the hardest, it's often the hardest thing to work out new areas. I suggest to people they do a lot of research beforehand. We will hear, like a lot of the good spots I've found just recently, we've heard a whisper of something. That someone found like the recent find, the recent big find that I've had, and I don't think it's been released by anyone yet. I think there's only a few of us that know about it. Well, I hope there's only a few of us that know about it. But the big find, I had an old bloke came in and said he found a helmet, a World War II helmet. I was like, where was that? And he was like, sweet, I'll tell you where it is. Right? And it was in a public area, even better. So I started to do a bit of work on it, and a lot of the other guys did a lot of work on it, and turns out it was World War I light horse. World War II was stationed. There was a lot of blokes stationed there in World War II. Never been detected. Completely completely untouched. So just a remarkable find for those relic guys, that you can go into an area that is just completely untouched. And like there is, there'd have to be 200 or 300 acres in there that hasn't been touched. And we're getting, there's dog tags coming out of there, there's rising suns coming out of there. There is about 1 million, it turns out part of the area was a dump. Well, we think it was a dump because there was Dixie handles, like thousands and thousands of Dixie handles all in one spot. So we suspect it was a World War II dump, which could be quite interesting. So, so that's one way to do it. So Trove newspapers is another way to do it. Trove is every newspaper ever published. Fantastic. So Trove is really good. So you can look up your specific area. You might be in Kalgoorlie and you want to look at a paper from 1830. You want to see where the races were. You want to go looking for relics in Kalgoorlie, which is probably rare. So, yes. The other one, if you're interested in military sites, is Oz at War. It's a fantastic site. Yeah, so there's some things to start with. Another thing is old books, right? Warren talks about old books. So, like I've just gone a bit nuts on Ian Idris, like the tin scratches. I've got these books which are phenomenal. I'm just halfway through reading this fella, Prospecting for Gold. Wasn't cheap, I tell you, but some of the information in there is just incredible. And in the back of some of these books, right, so in the back of this book, let me show you what's in the back of this book. is it this book? Or maybe it's not this book. Oh, here we go. So, in this book, this is a book written in the 60s. I think it was 60s. 65, right? In the back here, it's got a list of where gemstones are found. So, some of these old books are just full of information. So, you know, it's amazing what's recorded in some of those old books. So, yes. Denise, I don't sell the books. They're at the local library. They're on eBay. Some of them are ridiculously priced, these old books. Like, this is... I've tried to... So, there's a couple of books here, I'll show you. So, these are 2 books I bought last week. Some of these others I've had for a long time. But this one here is Fortune in Minerals, it's called. So, it's a 1941 Fortune in Minerals by Idris again. I haven't read that one. I flicked through it, but it just goes into what I tried to do. I talked about it. I've talked about it a couple of episodes. How a lot of the old mining knowledge from back before World War One, it has been lost. So what I actually did is I went and looked for old books. See, this is a 1931 book, published in 1931, about gold mining. So what an amazing resource to be able to go in there and have a look at what he's talking about. And it is, like, I've gold prospected for, basically all my life. I used to go out when I was young bloke. But the things that I've learnt out of rereading that book, or the things that I should be concentrating on and weren't, is incredible. So any of that old stuff that you can read, all that information is lost to us. So, yes. Right. So let me just, I see questions. I see questions going ding, 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 ding. So let me just scroll back. Yes, I do. Yes, someone asked about, do I use a green screen? Yes, I do use a green screen. Garrett, green logos fill up with the background. Yes. There is thousands of questions. Thank you very much for asking. Judy asked a good question here. I'm after an SDC for down here in Tassie. What mods can be bought to be used with the detector? So, a lot of detectors can't be modified. You need a lot of accessories. So a lot of the only real detectors that can be modified are the Minelab GPX series. I don't believe they're doing a lot of modifications on any of the other Minelab ones, or the Garrett stuff, or the Whites, or that. I don't think they're doing any of that. So mostly the Minelab stuff. You do need a stack of accessories though. You can never have enough accessories. So normally you would need a pick, something to dig with, a nugget scoop if you're looking for small nuggets particularly. Pro pointer are fantastic. So yes. Linda asked if I thought about doing a leaflet of all the best places to go gold panning. Where was that? Gold panning, gold prospecting. Well, no, is the short answer. I've never thought of doing that. We do a USB stick. I've got one here. Here it is. A USB, well, it's actually a gold bar. Well, it's actually a USB stick. And it's a gold bar. And we do have a whole stack of GPS points on that. And we send that out with the, if you buy a detector off us, you get the waypoints. I don't know how many waypoints are on there. Natalie told me the other day, I keep talking about 12,000 waypoints. Natalie reckons there's a lot more than that on there. So So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how many's on there. So there's a stack of waypoints on there. So yeah, I would. That's the only thing I do. So right, and of course, if you're looking for gold mines, right, if you're into prospecting, get onto your state mines department, right? Get onto their website. The geological information that's around there is phenomenal. So now, speaking of SDCs, right, we better do this. I'd forgotten about this. Woodyfoot are giving away. So this is a stand for your SDC. Here it is. Here's one out of the packet. Woodyfoot, right? So these go on the shaft of the SDC, make the machine stand up better instead of it rolling over onto its side all the time. So SDC user, the best find you've ever had with your SDC, and I'll send you out one of these. So it has to be SDC user because it doesn't really fit anything else. But that's from Woodyfoot. You can buy them from them direct. They will retail for, they're retail $40 each plus postage, and it's called Woodyfoot. So, because the bloke's last name is Woodhouse, so Woodyfoot. So yes, perfect. So so there's a lot going on. SDC best finds, questions, yes. So while we're talking about books, right? There's Doug Stone's books. I think there's Doug Stone's books. I haven't got it here. There's these fellas, Golden Ghosts. I use a lot of Golden Ghosts, but what you'll find is that they're ridiculously dear, those Golden Ghosts. But what you'll find with a lot of that information is if you're using Doug Stone, so's everyone else. If you're using Golden Ghost, so's everyone else. That's the problem you've got. So you talk about some of this stuff. No one's really using that. So, and that doesn't talk about a lot of locations, although I haven't got to the end of it yet. But I don't think it talks about any locations specifically. But yeah, that's the trick. If you can get some of these old books, like this 1960s gemstone book, right? That in the back of it, it gives you the locations and where to go to find specific gemstones. That's the sort of stuff you want to get to. You know, and if you're into relic hunting, railway history through New South Wales, or you know, Cobb and Co through Victoria, like fantastic, you know. So yeah, it's sweet. So right, okay. The GPS stick does have GPS points for northeast Victoria. Yes, it does. USB sticks, I believe, are online. You'd have to just have a look at the shop, actually. I don't know whether they are, to be honest with you. So I'll just have a quick... Normally we don't sell them, we just give them away with the metal detector. So, I mean, there's a cost involved with doing them up and all that sort of stuff, but, you know, yeah, I've never really... People keep asking me about them, and it's just like... Yeah, they're on the website, okay, but don't buy them. They're too much. They're ridiculously expensive, and I think we've just put them at that price just to so no one buys them. So whatever you do, don't buy them at that price. So if you want one, ring me and I'll sort something out for you. Because don't buy them at that price. I don't know why we've got them up there at that price. That's a bit ridiculous. So we've got them up there at $130. So they're not $130. So yeah. Well, Lynn asked a good question. What signs do you look for in golds where gold might be detected? So Lynn, it's a big question, and we've done whole shows on it. There's a really good YouTube two-part series that Warren from NQ Explorers and I did out at Warwick, and it goes through a lot of detail. It talks about crevices like this one behind me. It talks about what to look for in creeks. It talks about what to look for in rocks. I like to see dirty quartz. So you've got, of course I've got no real example sitting here in front of me, but real white quartz, like that's sort of white, but the darker it is, the more mineralisation's in it. So I like to see that darker quartz. I also like to see ironstone, which is like a magnetic, that's just a magnet. Like that's a magnet holding onto that rock. So ironstone. So I like to see highly mineralised ground, stuff that's hard for a VLF machine to work. So that's sort of, and then I like to see changes in ground. So when I talk about changes in ground, I'm talking about, you know, the soil are changing colour. You know, it goes from red to grey. You know, there's obviously some sort of fault line there. So that's what I'm looking for. So, Trevor looks for pistachio shells. Well, there's a good tip. Every time he finds gold, he's got pistachios, eh? That's good, so look for it. Daryl, have I ever thought about doing day or weekend detecting tours for small groups? Yes, I have. My big issue with it is insurance. I'm trying to get some insurance that's cost effective, because some of this insurance is just stupid. So I'm trying to get that insurance sorted where I don't have to mortgage my a body part to make sure it's nice and safe. So yes, I need to talk to some of the other guys that are doing tours. So right, so yes, so someone here mentioned GemQ, our good friends from GemQ. Warren is at 9,376 on his NQ Explorers YouTube channel. So if you haven't subscribed to NQ Explorers and you want to watch some good videos on metal detecting, go over to NQ Explorers. They are doing some phenomenal stuff over there. Their last, I think it was their last video in New Zealand, sluicing in New Zealand. Countryside's beautiful. The amount of water over there is just crazy, but just a fantastic video. So make sure you go and have a look at that. He's one of the he's a good guy on that YouTube. And funnily enough, so is GemQ. They're a couple of old hands at YouTube, those two blokes. So right. Actually, Daryl, that's not a bad idea. I could have it as a download, couldn't I? Yeah. I like sending out the gold bar. The USB, Daryl makes a good point. I should have it as a download, you know. But who doesn't want a gold bar USB stick? So, but yes, I am not. I'm not very technically savvy. So yes, I should have it as a download. I should be able to give people a code and say, here you go and download it. Yes, I'll have to work that out. So, now, let's talk about my epiphany. My epiphany came about with this book. So this is in 1931, Prospecting for Gold. Okay, and it talks about hydraulic sluicing, it talks about all the stuff we're not allowed to do, it talks about mercury, it talks about all that stuff that's not good, right? But the detail that these guys went to, when they would look at an area like that, they would, like I go out to an area and I have a bit of a pan off the top, or I try to get to the bottom, and I sort of scratch at it, and I sort of probably don't do a good job. I don't get right to the bottom, and then I go pan that off. Oh no, gold here, walk away. These old timers, when I read this book, these old timers will follow down a little narrow crack like this. They'll follow it down 3 or 4 feet, you know, and they will get gold out of it. They talk about that you can work an area of a square metre that's full of rock, hard rock, and get, you know, half an ounce out of it, no trouble at all. So a lot of that fine gold, I watch people out in the gold fields, out in the Fosking area, they're swinging the metal detector far too quickly, right? When they're crevicing, they're not going right to the bottom. So I think I've been, as a prospector, I think I've been, you know, I certainly haven't been thorough. I've been haphazard, would be a good way to describe it. So, yes. Right. So, lots and lots of questions. So, a couple of questions there about entry-level metal detectors. I think you can't, I've always say this, I don't think you can go too far wrong with Garrett or Minelab machines. I don't actually sell Minelab machines at the moment, but I don't think you can go too far wrong with Garrett and Minelab machines, particularly entry-level. Ace, the Ace series, the GoFind series, I probably would, I try to say to people, do Ace 300 and GoFind 40, I think is it 44 now? So I would try and, you know, the Ace 200 and the GoFind 20 are good machines, but you are better at 300 and GoFind 44. So they are a good machine. You are going to struggle when you go out to the gold fields and in the salt water on the beach, because they can't handle that mineralised ground anywhere near as well as what a more expensive machine has. They don't have a ground balance, so they're a fixed ground balance. So try and they are good machines, but you know, if you can go that little bit more, I would suggest you'll have better fun for that. So, right. So, yeah, there's we're going to do a shipwreck. We've had a couple of requests. We've had a shipwreck night. We're going to also do a bushranger night coming up. There's we've got a lot planned. We're going to do I'm trying to organise it now where we can get over to we're actually going to take the show on the road. We really restricted at the moment to anywhere that the internet, if there's no internet, we can't really get there at the moment. So we really need quick internet, and I've got all the mobile internet hotspot things, but really for a lot of the areas we were thinking about doing a show from Lankuri, and we really need satellite internet to do that, but obviously there's a little cost with that. So that's what we're looking at, but you know, we'll see how it goes. So Right, so yes, thanks for that, Daryl. The new Minelab ones are 224466. So yeah, the 44 is probably would be my starting point, as well as the 300. There is nothing wrong with the 22 and the Ace 200. Nothing wrong with them at all. But you are better. So Daniel asks a good question. Are there any pinpointers that ground balance? Yes, any pinpointer over about $160 all but ground balance. So yes, so they will all ground balance. So if you've got AT Garrett pinpointers, if you've got I think the cheaper Minelab one doesn't. I could be wrong there. XP Deus. Their pinpointers all ground balance. Yeah, a lot of them do. So yes. Well, there's a question and a half. Sean, any photos of me with hair? Not really. Not for a long time anyway. I used to have long red flowing locks, but yes, I don't really have any pictures about that. So yes. Linda, we've been down to Melbourne. Yes. We haven't done a show down there, but yes, great. Damo's here. G'day, Damo from the Young Guns. The Young Guns are doing some really good stuff. If you see those guys on Facebook, like them too, they're awesome. So big news, and here we go. And Clyde's helped us out with this through the week. Let me throw a picture up here, and that's not the right one. That's the right one there. Put him over here. So Ray from Gold Advanced Training has been testing a new coil. Okay, it's for all your high-end Minelab machines. Very, very exciting. So it's a here it is here. Here's a picture of it. 12x8 Evolution coil. And Ray's been doing some testing on it. You can see there that it hasn't even got any branding on it, hasn't got anything on it. So, just straight out of research and development. So, 12x8 Evolution coil, probably out August, September, from what I hear. And from what Clyde mentioned to me is that it's very, very sensitive, but it's still very, very quiet. So I think there's going to be a good balance there with that coil, I think. So I think they could be onto a big winner there. So we'll see how that goes further on down the track, but certainly the initial stuff sounds very, very good with that. So, right, GPS technology. There could be a whole show on that, and there will be a whole show on that actually. GPSs. So GPSs. A lot of people use the little handheld ones that aren't much bigger than your phone, and they are very, very good in the field. I used to have one mounted on my car, the dashboard of my car in front of me. I could never read it because it's bouncing around on a dirty track. My eyesight's crap, and I could never read it. The screen was too small. So what I've done now is I've actually run on an iPad in the car. I've actually seen people with iPads mounted on their machine, but I don't go that far. I actually have the same app on my phone, and if I want to mark a waypoint, I can on my phone. When I come back into, and this gets hooked up to home, the iPad hooks up to home, they all sync up to the computer over the World Wide Web. So that's what I use at the moment, but there's Garmin. You really need something you can take with you so you don't get lost going back to the car. So that's you know, a phone is not a good solution, but it's the solution that I'm using at the moment. So, but we will do a whole show on GPSs. We will do a whole show on pro pointers. Magnet fishing's coming up. Some people wanted some information on target ID numbers and how that works, so we'll do that as part of something else. And we might even tie in a few of these ground tracking and all that sort of stuff as well. So, right. Daniel asked what that coil fits. I believe it fits GPX series. So, but the boys could correct me on that if I'm completely wrong. But yeah, I believe it fits GPX systems, all the GPX stuff. So, yes. So, right. Let me just read here. Stephen makes a very good comment here. I wish we could get these comments up on the screen, but they don't want to push through. Stephen's been doing a lot of research on inside Beg Creek, Skull Drop out. My question is, as when the Samoset water springs anti-clockwise, do you think there's more gold falling out of the left-hand bank rather than the right-hand bank following the water down? Gee, Steve, that's a good question, that one. I don't know. That's a cracking question, that. That's a good question, that. So, like, you flush the toilet, it goes one way in the northern hemisphere, the other way in the south. It'd have to work the same way in a creek, I suppose. So, yeah, absolutely, of course. So, but the difference between one side of a creek to the other side of the creek would be so minimal because the forces involved are quite large and the water, yeah. Maybe. So, yes. Yes, Trevor, we could do... Trevor makes a good point here. We need to do a show on recovery techniques. And we might even have to do some pre-recording on that one. And, yes. So, yeah, no problem at all. People ask about, will I ever do a AT Max training day? I will do, mate, you ring me, I'll do AT Max training, no problem at all. I could do AT Max training over the telephone, so no problems at all. Right, what else have we got? Yeah. Clive makes a good point. I could use a sat phone, I believe, for internet, but I don't know whether it's going to be speeds quick enough. So that's my issue there. So, the back to the GPSs again. We're jumping all over the place here a little bit, but back to the GPSs. The app I use is something called Gaia, Gaia. And if you type that in, it's a mapping system. I think it cost me $30, $31 for the app, and $30 for the a high quality GPS map of Australia. Not a GPS, a satellite map of Australia, not the Topo map. So yes, GAIA is the app I use. So have a look at that thing, and it syncs, automatically syncs. It's quite a clever little app. If it's an American-based app, so if you're in America, what you can do is you can overlay all this information, any sort of information you've got, like you can overlay geological maps and you can overlay fault zones, you can overlay who owns it, forestry, all this stuff you can overlay on it. But in Australia, we don't have that that luxury. So, yes, so my suggestion is a couple of people asking about GPX and Z training. Ray Hall, Gold Advanced Training. Get on to Gold Advanced Training on Facebook, right? get hold of a gentleman there called Ray, and apparently he is the guru when it comes to GPZ, GPX. Yes. Right. Yes. Yeah, I've just answered that one, Ray. Yep. Sean asked a question, do you know if handheld UHF interfere with pulse machines? I haven't seen any interference with them. I haven't seen any problems with them. I have heard you do need to be a little careful with some of the interference on some of these machines. So, for instance, I think there's a little issue there with Equinox. I think you actually need to turn your phones off when you're using the Equinox. So if you're having an Equinox and it's playing up, just try taking your phone out of your pocket and turning it off. So yeah, I have heard that's happening. So yes, so yeah, anything that we sell here in the shop, AT Max, we'll do training on. We do there's a daylight helpline that you can ring. Mostly it's me on the end of the helpline, but if you buy a machine off us, there's a daylight helpline. You can just pick up the phone and ring me anytime. Sometimes I have the day off and off the phone, and one of the other guys will be on the phone, but they really know what they're talking about. So that's the most important thing. So yeah. So Greg mentions here that UHF does interfere with the GPX and GPZ. Yeah. See. Yes, so it is very machine specific. I tend to use a Garrett ATX. They're very shielded, from what I can gather. They work under power lines, electric fences, all that sort of stuff. Yeah, so I don't have any problems with that. So, yeah. Robert, where's the most place in Australia where they've found gold? Probably Victoria. Certainly the biggest nuggets coming out of there. So, yeah, yeah. So that's the yeah, exactly. So, right. Okay, so for those that you that don't know, I'm Ben from Gold Diggers. This is actually Monday Night Live. We do this every Monday night, and where you get all your questions answered. We do some giveaways, so we're giving away some caps and stuff tonight, mugs. We've got we need some stories for the SDC giveaway. So best stories for the SDC, best questions, or we got a bag here to give away too. I'll send out tomorrow. Caps, cups, all sorts of stuff. So best questions, and we can go from there. So right, Greg Miller. Greg invites us to the Pirates prospecting camp in Leonora. Do a show from there. Geez, that'd be flash. I'd be keen on that. So we might have to look at that. So okay. So Alicia asked a question here about got a Garrett Euro Ace, live in England, gets false signals galore, leaving me to dig for ages and not find a thing. Let me use a pinpoint to make sure I don't miss something small. Can't work out if it's something I'm doing. Could you give me advice, please? So, Alicia, what's probably going on there, and it's the same for all VLF detectors, is that you are probably digging ground noise. So my advice to you is to make sure the signal's repeatable in two directions. When you do start to dig a hole, the signal shouldn't disappear. It should get louder. That's a good indication that you're... that's a good indication that it's a good target. And And yeah, but you're doing the right thing. You could have your sensitivity up a little bit high. You could wind that back a little bit, but that can happen, sort of thing. So, yes. Right. Kurt asked a question. Are the blokes on Aussie Gold Diggers on TV actually making good coin? I would think, from what I hear about those prospecting blokes, there is so many people that go over there and go broke. I don't think that those guys have necessarily gone over and gone broke, but I would think that, like you can even look at it from season to season. Some of them will do 10 ounces, one for a whole season, and then next season they'll do 150 ounces. So it's hot and cold, and it's, so yes, I'm sure people make a fortune over there, but I think they're more a minority than yes. So, yes, it's, I unless you go big over there, I just can't see that you're getting consistency, sort of thing. So, right. So, I think that's all the important things we've... Oh, no, there's a couple of important things to do here. I will just reduce me down here a little bit. So, at the end of July, Lightning Ridge Opal Festival. So, would be great fun. I've told the guys I'd promote it a couple of times, so it's at the end of the month. So if you're going out there, some reports would be good. I think it'd be a fantastic weekend out there, and if it's anything like a lot of these events out in the bush, they are just a really exciting weekend, and probably a highlight for the town for the whole week for the whole year. So, right, Lynn, what's the difference between a VLF machine and a PI machine? It's a good beginner question. So a VLF machine tells you what the target is. So big advantage there that you don't have to dig every hole. The a PI machine, a pulse induction machine, doesn't tell you what the target is. So you've got to dig every hole. So you might ask, why would you bother with a PI machine? So the advantage of a PI machine is when you go into an area that doesn't have a lot of rubbish, they go dramatically deeper than what a VLF machine will do. So a VLF machine, that's its downside. It only goes fairly shallow. So that's the downside and the plus side. The other plus side for a pulse induction machine is it can handle the heavily mineralised ground really, really well, where the VLF machine will be very noisy and can be hard to control just because of the technology. So therefore it's, the pulse induction machines get used on the gold fields more than the VLF machines. Although there is good success coming out of the gold fields with Gold Monsters, AT Maxes. I've seen some great photos coming out of on Facebook looking for seeing these little gold nuggets coming out of the bush. Well, there's still a lot of gear coming out. So, right. Okay, so right. So, guys, I noticed a bit of just swearing in the chat. We got a lot of kids here, guys. So just keep the swearing down, hey. It's a bit of a family show, and we have a bit of fun here, but that might be taking it a bit far. So yes. So Chris asked a question: bought an SDC and it only had 2 batteries instead of 4 C batteries. Can this do damage to the machine? I would think it's supposed to run on 4 batteries, mate. So I don't know whether it would damage the machine because most of them have voltage converters on it. So yes, but who knows, mate. So okay. So Tony asked a question about what's the best places that I've ever detected. and pan. I've never been to WA. I'm looking forward to going to WA. I've done a little bit down in Victoria, but I like this sort of fairly remote places. So for instance, I walked into an area just last week. It was a long walk. It was hours. It was the only way I could get into it. It was the middle of a state forest where no vehicle access, no nothing. So I walked in to an area that was just super rich. Like one pan of gravel would have 20 or 30 pieces of gold in it, and just super rich. Never been anywhere that rich before, and you know, it's just I can't get to it. I can't put a lease on it because it's all tied up under native title. And it's seriously, it's a 4-hour walk in country like this. So, you know, it's not something you could walk into there for a bit of a hobby. So, yeah, so that's what it is. So, yes. Rebecca, I love hearing that other people have Garrett detectors. I was feeling lonely a smile on that, but we are not brand specific here. I do use Garrett machines. I freely admit that, but the Minelab machines are great machines. James asked about a GPX 5000, great machine, phenomenal machine. But we try not to be specific here. We try to welcome all brands. Of course, there's machines I like and there's machines I don't like. I try to tell it how it is. Like, there's Garrett machines I wouldn't buy. There's Minelab machines I wouldn't buy. So, you know. Yes, so I think a fairer, unbrand specific world is a nicer world. So, yes. Right. Brooke, 1 year ago today when I found my first little piece of gold. Brooke, that's awesome. Happy anniversary, the gold anniversary. So, yes. Have I ever got lost in the outback? Absolutely. Absolutely. But I do carry a GPS with me. So it depends where I'm going, okay? Like, if I'm going to... So, for instance, if I'm going to Warwick and the Fossicking area at Warwick, I carry my phone with me. That's all I carry with me. It's got a GPS on it. If I use that app I was talking about before, that Gaia map, its GPS is good enough, and I've tested it a number of times in the bush to work for me, and I don't need internet connection, right? It's got its own GPS in it, so no problem at all. I would then... So, if I was going much more remote in an area where I could get seriously messed up on, or where I'm in danger, I don't know the area. So, for instance, when I walk 4 hours into that creek that I like the look of, I carried a proper GPS with me, a Garmin GPS. I also carried my phone and only used my phone. Not that I needed it, but you know, that's what that's all I used when I went in there. So I do pack differently depending on what I'm actually going to be doing. So something that I'm within 100 metres of the car, I might not take my first aid kit with me, you know. Whereas something that I'm, you know, 2 kilometres from the car, I've definitely got a first aid kit with me. So the one exception to that is I always have a snakebite kit with me. No matter, it's in every fines bag I own. It's in everything. It's even in the one I take to the beach. So when I go beach detecting, like I do a bit of detecting at the Spit on the Gold Coast. You walk through 100 metres of sand dunes, it's full of brown snakes. I don't know why more people don't get bitten on the Gold Coast, because it's full. The dunes are just full of brown snakes. So, so it's with me all the time. So, so just on the phone, and people would have to test this for themselves, right? Certainly on this iPhone, if I've got no signal at all, I still have a GPS that works. The GPS works on that Gaia map without phone reception, and I've tested it, so I know that for a thing. So, but yeah, I don't know whether it's on everything, every phone, Baz. So Baz just asked the question about whether the phone signal drops out. So, right. I've just realised that we've gone 10 minutes overtime here. We've still got a few people here, so I might go on for another 5 minutes. So, yes. Right, let's have a look here and see if we can get... oh, there's a good... Baz has got a good pointer there. Reject Shop have got plastic spades, $2 each. Nice. Nice work there. Nice pick up there, Baz. Baz is full of stuff like that. So, yes. So, Daryl asked a question there. Who sells SDC batteries? Well, Minelab would sell them. You could also look at Cleggy at Detectorist.com. I believe he sells... I don't know whether it's for the SDC or not. You'd have to talk with him. He might have a rechargeable pack that he does. But detectorist.com.au is Cleggy's place. So, so I know he does do some battery packs, but whether he's got them for the SDC, I don't know. But any of the Minelab stores should have battery packs for the SDC. So, yes. It's very easy to go over time with this show. You look down and you think, oh, where'd all that time go? So, so I hope I haven't interfered with the... I don't know what's on tonight. What is it, Monday night? Be football on or something's on. So, yeah. So, right. Right. I think the name of the app is Gaia. G-A-I-A. It's G-A-I-A. It's Gaia GPS. You can have a look at it online because there's a computer version of it. Yes. So, right, yeah. Like, people are asking about Cleggy's rechargeable packs. I think they're good rechargeable packs. I don't tend to see, I use these, I just buy bulk packs of batteries. And I use a lot of machines, and like by the time you go recharging them and mucking around, and that's what I tend to use. I tend to not to go down the rechargeable route. So, horses for courses. Yeah. Lots of people asking about the dirt. Did anyone get a chance to pan their gold that we sent out? It was. We did a gold panning show last week, which is you can watch the replay. You can watch the replay, and we sent out a whole stack of pay dirt, and yeah, we had a good time. I enjoyed myself the other night, so it was awesome. So Kyla got hers today. Yeah, I think they've taken a few days to get to people, sort of thing. So I'm glad you. Yes. Now, Bren, you said hopefully next week you answer my question. What was your question, Bren? Don't leave just yet. I can answer. I can answer your question. I see a lot of. I think we're probably. I don't know how many comments we're at now. But what happens with this show is, I sit here. I'm by myself. There is, how many comments was there? I get 1,000 comments, and they just scroll through. So if I missed your question, I'm sorry. I'll try to get back to it. After the show. I don't know where. Yeah, I've missed the question. Oh, there it is, Bren. I don't know whether Bren stayed with us, but yeah. So sorry if I missed your question. It's yeah. I just get slammed. So with these questions, 1,000 in an hour. It's yes. Yeah. All right. Okay. So. We might call that a night. So thanks everyone for joining me. Next week we'll have a more defined subject rather than just general questions. But I'm sure it'll be a good show. So thank you everyone for joining me, and we'll see you all again next week.